my name's Tenebris and welcome back to Road to Vostok. Today we're going to go over everything you folks can expect in the upcoming Road to Vostok demo that'll be launching later on this month. Road to Vostok is going to be a hardcore, single-player, first-person shooter survival game to top them all, and this is our first steps into seeing that actually happen. But for this video, I wanted to make sure I was getting you guys the most accurate information possible. So I asked the developer to check what I had put together, and Auntie, the absolute legend, came through and gave me a full-on list to go over with you all. So the biggest shoutouts to the developer of this game. What a guy! There's a lot in here that we've seen in the variety of devlogs and work-in-progress videos, but there are also a few things in here that we haven't seen yet, like the AI spawner and random events. So let's start kind of from the top of the list here. Looking at the recently revealed in-game settings menu, we'll have a lot of customization for this demo. Being able to control everything from our head bob with camera noise settings to things you maybe wouldn't expect, like weapon FOV and positioning, which will not only be fun to play around with, but is just outright a cool option to see. We've then got options for things like time of day and weather settings, as well as a number of performance options like quality and textures, ambient occlusion and sharpening, and the option to toggle dual render scopes to save FPS when aiming down sights. But an option we don't see yet that I think we'll be seeing in the menus here is a work-in-progress AI spawner. And I can already tell that that'll be a lot of fun to mess around with. It'll be cool to see what spawn caps are like, and maybe having the chance to set up some pretty fun scenarios in the demo. But moving on from settings and menu options to something that's going to be one of the most important factors of our survival in Road to Vostok: the guns. And it seems in my analysis video for the latest work-in-progress video that I was right about the weapon list. We'll be seeing the Glock, the PM5, the RM870, the RK62, the M1A4, the K416, and the SK85. We'll have a really decent selection of weapons from the get-go in the demo. I figure the SK85, the 870, and the K416 are probably going to be the best weapons, but we'll have to see how difficult it is to actually get these weapons in the demo. I'm going to be making videos testing all these guns out and probably putting together tips and tricks and weapon locations and stuff like that if it's applicable. Something that'll be really cool as we raid through the village map here in the demo will be the procedural house barricades. The procedural elements like this and the foliage will make repeat trips through Road to Vostok much more enjoyable, which might happen quite a bit depending on how well you handle the permadeath side of Vostok proper. It's gonna be great to see all the procedural world elements alongside the loot simulation and container system all in action, making for much more variation in our looting runs. We learned about the container system and loot simulation in the devlog on looting. Containers have RNG rolls on the items you'll get, and place loot is scattered with a really unique approach that's going to be big for those immersive feels. And speaking of immersion, we're going to be able to find radios as well as a television. And the TV is something really cool here. Auntie actually mentioned this TV a while back on his Twitter as a form of experimental marketing, so I'm really excited to go out and actually find one in the game and see what the dude whipped together. I have some theories, but I'd rather wait on this one to find out. Then, the radios. Man, Finnish folk radio 24/7 by the dang fireside. That's it, dude. Immersion set. But in all honesty, I think all the interactive features that we're already seeing in this demo, from radios to televisions to campfires and candles, we're going to have a lot more enjoyment just engaging in the game world, which is part of what makes Road to Vostok a really awesome premise of a video game. It's not just the combat and survival, but the immersion and true-to-life factors. For the next three things, it's a bit of a mishmash, but we've got character inertia, arm stamina, and flashlights and lasers. You'll have to manage arm stamina while aiming, and flashlights and lasers will be great for combat and exploration. And the character inertia, this is something that has been worked on since the first devlog that Road to Vostok put out, so I'm really looking forward to the end result of the past 6 months of refinement. And to cycle back to the lasers for a quick second, those will be really interesting to see how we can apply them. We know the K416 will be likely its tier 2 version, allowing for more attachments, but we may be able to hook it up to other weapons as well, like the M4 possibly, if it'll be like a tier 1 weapon, and the RK would then be tier 0. We'll definitely have to wait on that one to find out. Then we've got item placement, where we'll be able to physically place and move things in the game world, kinda like Fallout, Skyrim, or The Long Dark. This will be neat to get into in combination with our first shelter, serving as our home base while we raid through the village map. It'll be sick to see what the community makes of their first shelter here in the game. I'm gonna be aiming for efficiency, but can't help feeling my shelter's gonna turn out like this. But the spiciest thing from this list, at least to me, is one of the things we haven't seen in action just yet. It's the random map event. I'm definitely going to talk about this one in a separate video because it has so much potential, from airdrops to invasions and maybe a high risk reward factor. Having random factors like this so early on is just really smart. One of the things I can really get behind with Vostok are its priorities. They're awesome to see, from procedural elements to random encounters. The direction this game is taking with everything is just coming together to make a heck of a video game. Now lastly, there are a handful of features that are labeled as demo version features. These are probably the most subject to change over time, even though everything will be realistically subject to change. But the features labeled demo version or work in progress are things we could pretty much assume will change over time. But there are also some of the things I think our feedback will be really important on, outside of the gameplay itself. With our first shelter, it'll probably be one of the biggest tests of the item placement system. As well, it'll give us a chance to get a good feel for what shelters will be like. This one may be smaller than what future shelters will be though, so that is something to keep in mind. The entire map is something labeled as a demo feature too, which I kinda half expected myself. This is probably like a rough sketch of what Village will actually be like, though it's hard to say how close this version of Village will be to the final version. I still think, again, our feedback and testing on this map will be a huge benefit in the long run, not just for Village, but future maps as well. Then we have two more that are more like system demos, the transition system and the save system. We may have something like a manual save to begin with that will become automatic in the future, and the transition system might be in a more simplified form than what the final result will be. And last but not least, we have the two work in progress features, the AI spawner and procedural barricades. The AI spawner is totally unexpected, but going to be a fun tool to muck around with. And as I said before, procedural factors are just going to up the replay value of this game immensely. So, I want to know all of your thoughts and feels on this. I know it's a lot to go over. This demo is going to be freaking crazy, dudes. The culmination of the past year and a half of hard work from this developer, and it's coming together beautifully. So, what do you think of things like the random event, or maybe the shelter or the weapons? I think we're going to have a really meaty demo to get into here. There's a lot to test and give feedback on, and this is only the start of things for Road to Vostok. But for now, thank you for watching or chiming in, and I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, peace.